The current Accelerator project really took feedback from the pilot into consideration. I can remember lack of identification as a barrier for a lot of our folks, and now that's being supported through funds specifically to aid in obtaining ID. The pilot was a shorter time span. I think it was about 3 months. And though we had events specifically to give out information and help families to register, we found it was most successful when it was worked into conversations and existing programming. This longer timeline will allow for more natural and organic conversations to happen, as well as having events specific to the Canada Learning Bond. The coordinators of the Accelerator program are really investing time and energy in the feedback of frontline workers and managers into how this can be tailored to suit the needs of the community rather than the other way around. We continue to take our cues from the community and their needs, something the YW does so well. It's really focusing on reducing barriers for participants, many of whom have been greatly impacted in the last few years and continue to be through the pandemic, those who have lost their jobs, those who have had to leave work to care for children or aging parents, single parents, and so on. It's reducing financial barriers by increasing access to education and addressing financial literacy needs, striving to break the cycle of poverty. Hopefully, it will offer insight and information to local financial institutions to strengthen this connection for participants. Projects like this are so crucial within local community organizations like the YWCA, providing places where participants feel both supported and connected to staff and programming, and are more likely to trust in staff to allow them to better advocate for them. When creators of programs listen to staff doing the work, it helps to put a name to what the community needs to mitigate against these systemic barriers. They help provide a better sense of what gaps exist, what participants are feeling and experiencing when accessing financial institutions, and how the community can better respond. This is where participants are often heard sharing and working toward overcoming barriers, such as financial literacy, education and planning, and where staff are able to advocate. With this funding, families can take control of their finances within their education, increase their motivation, and continue their learning. Well, during the pilot, when I asked why the families wanted to sign up for this project, many caregivers said for a brighter future for their children. Some said because it was free money, and one stated that they wanted to take advantage of resources available. Like I said before, the impact can simply be a desire to go after educational goals. Caregivers are encouraging continued education, as now they'll have the better means to support it. It can become a reality for families and not such a burden. Even though it's a global movement, the YWCA feels grounded in local communities and grassroots driven. It's responsive to the needs of the community, and it's human rights-based, feminist, and inclusive to the needs of participants and the community. To me, the YWCA movement is about empowering and mobilizing communities, highlighting the voices of cis and trans women and girls, and advocating for change and equity. The Accelerator project really echoes that, as it responds to the needs identified by our community of participants, offers increased understanding and advocacy, and a focus on what should be a right for everyone, increased access and options for continued education.